I want to bring in Congressman Peter King, Republican of Long Island, a Homeland Security expert. Welcome back, sir. What is your reaction tonight? You heard what's going on. You've got great sources. Just how are you feeling right now about where we are and what's happening?
Greg, I think we're finally starting to get out in front of this. Right now, I think the momentum is going our way. I think the president has made it clear, Dr. Fauci and others have made it clear this has to be an all-out effort. Remember, it was only 5 days ago the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball were still planning on going ahead. So right now, so much has happened in the last 5 days, and I think this is the only way to really stop this virus is to have get isolation, have people off the streets, out of restaurants, out of mass transit, even to the extent they can. And despite what Governor Cuomo said, I think Governor Cuomo has done an excellent job here in New York. I wish he hadn't made those remarks today, because for the most part, he's been very temperate and very reasoned, and I think he's doing a good job here in New York. I think all of us should try to work together. I think the president should stop talking about what Obama did with the swine flu. The Democrats should stop talking about the test kits. Let's go forward. Let's do it like in World War I, to combine private, public, partnership, and both parties standing together.
Tom Cotton, your colleague in the Senate, the time has come for extraordinary measures to combat the virus. He advised that all government agencies, aside from those which provide essential services, should shut down. Call it what you want, a shutdown, quarantine, curfew, whatever, but only absolutely essential work should continue. Groceries, pharmacies, supply transport, healthcare, electricity, water, and sanitation. Everyone else should stay home. You agree with that?
I think that's certainly going in the right direction. Again, for the most part, that's what government is. Certainly local government includes that. Now, maybe you'd say things like Parks Department or others are maybe a little bit frivolous or extraneous, but for the most part, governments are cutting back. And I know here, like on Long Island, Nassau County, Suffolk County, governments are paring back. And I think the governor has said he's calling for a 50% reduction. I know in Nassau County, County Executive Laura Curran is doing what she can to keep costs down and keep employees away from the office. So again, this is it's ongoing. And also, what might work in Arkansas today might not necessarily work in New York. So that's also where I disagree with Governor Cuomo. It's hard to have the cookie cutter federal approach to everything. I think it's important to do it in a way where there is leeway allowed to the states and local governments to do what they feel is best. These are laboratories, and this is something we never faced before. Well, maybe back in 1918 when you and I weren't there, but I mean, this is basically the first time we've had, certainly in over 100 years, any type of enemy like this, where we can't see it, we don't fully understand it, and we're doing the best we can on the run, on the fly. And I think that it's going to work. I really do.
Can I ask you, and again, Homeland Security expert, you've been involved in those issues for a long time, and you hear things that we don't necessarily hear. You're privy to intelligence, and I'm not asking you to reveal anything, but do you have any concerns about the origins of the Wuhan coronavirus? We mentioned Senator Cotton before. He's been rather vocal about his theories that this had a sinister origin, biological warfare campaign, perhaps by the Chinese. I know he's been dismissed. I hear people say, well, why would they have unleashed it in China? China, they've killed their own people before, not very long ago, within your lifetime. Is he crazy, or is there perhaps something to that, or at least worthy of investigation?
I think it's worthy of investigation. Not that they intentionally released it. I can see them working on some type of chemical and biological warfare and have it escape, have it get out. Again, I don't think they would want it going around the world, also starting in China. Again, who knows? I don't think so. I think more likely if they were doing it, it's something that escaped through negligence, through error. And from people I've spoken to, they have not been able to track that down. They don't believe that's the case. But again, I don't trust China at all. They've been disgraceful on this from the start. And it raises suspicions about why they wouldn't let doctors and scientists from other countries go there immediately to try to help out with the situation.
Finally, briefly, if you don't mind, the media. How have they done covering this issue? A lot of folks have a lot of skepticism about the media. They haven't done a lot over the past 2 years, 3 years to build up their credibility. How would you grade their performance, our performance?
I think they obviously have a bias against President Trump. I mean, sometimes he makes mistakes. Like, I don't think he should have been denying that the tests were inadequate at the start. He should have said it went wrong. It wasn't his fault. These were career people who made that mistake. But having said, no, the way they pile on, like, for instance, last week he had an historic news conference announcing this partnership, private and public together, declaring an emergency, taking these great steps, and most of their questions were whether or not the president was tested for coronavirus and trying to somehow catch him and trip him up. Now, that was, I don't see the media doing that to FDR during World War II, or even doing it to President Bush during the Iraq War. In the beginning, they were supportive. Sure. Later on, they became very cynical. But right now, we're at the start of this. And I think we should try to look. Listen, we're going to make a lot of mistakes over the next few months. When you're taking on an enemy that you've never met before, no battle plan works perfectly. If they're going to harp and dwell on every error that's made, they're really doing the country a disservice.
Congressman King, thank you very, very much, sir. Republican of Long Island. Great patriot and a friend. Thank you, sir. We'll see you again soon. In the meantime...
And congratulations on your baby.
Oh, hey, thank you so much.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems, or go to NewsmaxTV.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.